This is Buffalo's Uncensored Sports Show. You're watching Buffalo After Dark.
Welcome to Buffalo After Dark, everybody. It is Wednesday night, September 6th, and that means we are back for Season 4.
Woo! Season 4 of Buffalo After Dark, baby. Let's freaking go.
Oh, yeah. How's it going, man?
I am good. Summer has come to a close. Football season is on the horizon, which starts tomorrow night with the Lions and the Chiefs. We'll get to that later. We had a lot of fun this summer, and of course, we just had you. We had you hosting at my place this year, just 2 weeks ago for the Mets Angels game. For anybody who wants to see that vlog, I will say this now: the last 5 minutes is a tad botched with the voiceover, but it should be fine in general. Just one part is fucked up, but other than that, you should be fine. But if you haven't seen it, check it out. If not, I'll leave a link in the description, and you can check it out on our channel.
Yep, for sure. And of course, it was fun to come down and see you. First time I've been down there since 2019, so that was pretty sweet. Got to catch 2 Mets games. Also, on top of that, got my nice little ball that was caught.
Yep. What does the label say?
So I wrote on their batting practice: Angels versus Mets Saturday, 8/26/23 at Citi Field, New York City.
And you know what's funny? I still have this in my wallet.
Yeah. I actually still have mine, too.
Definitely keep that as a collector's item.
Yeah, I dragged your ass on the subway, and it probably saved us a lot of walking time and the extreme heat.
Yeah.
It wasn't that much better in the damn tunnel, either.
Yeah, but you know what? At the end of the day, though, you did pretty damn well. I'm not the best navigator in the world, by car or by train. I can't rely on any travel without any sort of income from a GPS. It's just, I need it. I suck with GPS. I can't navigate on my own terms. I mean, unless I live locally, of course, like that was no issue. But it's just traveling from where we were, because the video took place in Merrick, and we took from there to Penn Station. That was completely different because I'm accustomed to just taking the train straight to the Garden and then from there. Right. But not this situation. And then it was like, oh, we had to go to the subway, we had to go this, we had to go that, and it's just like all over the fucking place.
Yeah, let's see. We were on the 6 train, we were on the C train, we were on the R train, I think, and we did not get shot, shanked, mugged, anything like that. We did good. Yeah,
some people, I don't even think anybody in Chicago would be able to say that.
Right. No piss on the seats, no empty cars after someone decided to snap one in there or anything like that. So we did good.
The only closest we got to, the only thing we got close to regarding any sort of like crazy contingency was with the guy at the subway, or when we came off the Penn Station with the guy playing the cello, and he was just doing his musical speaker and whatnot in the train station, because a lot of people tend to do that. There are some crazy people in New York City.
Yeah, like the 3 scammers who the one called you an asshole because you told him off.
Okay,
so a totally separate thing.
Yeah, well, for context, for those who don't know, we went before because the issue was, what were we looking for again?
Well, we were looking to get a bag for some of your stuff because, I mean, with the rain and everything else, and plus it was hotter than hell out, so we were all like drenched by the time we
It was very mucky that day, and I'll never forget. It was very, very mucky, and you were all wet and hot, and I was wet and hot. We tried to get a bag, and the MLB flagship store did not have one. So the closest thing I was able to do was go to. Yeah, I got a fucking bag at a Dunkin' Donuts in the subway station. So while we're trying to find our way, because I think we're trying to jump onto a train to go to John's, John's in East.
And then we were trying to find that like Dwayne Reed or Walgreens or whatever the hell it is. And
that's what
it was underground.
Because you were under the impression of telling me that you were trying to go for the ATM and all that.
Yeah.
But anyways, so we were in Rockville Center when this happened, and we were surrounded by 3 dudes that were no taller than me. So I'm 5'8", by the way, and Tom's about
and I'm like
an inch taller,
9.5, 5'10".
Yeah, Tom's a little taller than me, so whatever. Anyways, so we get into the situation with them, not verbally because I was trying to be respectful, and they just come up to me like they don't have jobs. You can clearly tell, and they were saying, "Can you help us raise money for to raise money for children? You know, we're trying to save them." I'm like, "Save them for what? By selling your fucking CDs?"
Yeah,
And
which is
I
probably
was,
not even anything. It's like some random QR code. It's probably like, oh well, thanks for your money, but you get nothing.
yeah, exactly. So I knew that right away they were scammers.
Mm-hmm.
They were trying to plea me. They were trying to say, "Hey, what's going on?" You know, trying to be friendly, whatever,
Yeah.
like any convenient retailer store. So next thing you know, I'm watching the situation from Tom because I didn't expect him to, because he almost submitted it because he had that little device where you scan your credit card
Oh
into
yeah,
it.
that square thing, and then I watched, and then I was thinking about it. I'm like, wait a minute. It's
Yeah,
like
and I'm
Lord
looking
knows
at,
where that's going to.
and I said to myself, I'm like, Tom, please don't do it. Because I even said it to you before we went on the trip. I said, whatever you do, don't give any scammers any ideas whatsoever. I almost fucking ripped your head off for doing that. So that's why I was very stubborn and arrogant, because I strictly said, he's like, "Yo, do you guys have any cash on you?" And I said, "I don't have anything on me." He's like, "What about your phone?" I'm like, "I don't use my phone. That's all I have." And he says, "Oh, what about something else, like your card or your cash or whatever?" I'm like, "I don't have any of that." And
Mm-hmm.
then the guy was getting angry at me because I was standing my ground. And he was like, "This guy's a fucking asshole, yo.
Yeah,
Now your friend's a nice guy. Your friend's a fucking asshole."
yeah, exactly. And then
So
and then they tried getting somebody after us, I guess. So
yeah, and then next thing you know, I was like, I said to you right afterwards, I'm like, you have to be careful when you're in the city. I know you're not from the area, but you have to be careful when you're in any big city, Toronto, New York City, Chicago, Boston, Washington D.C. You have to be careful. There are always scammers in this area.
mm-hmm. Yep. But the good thing is we didn't run into them again, so that's a plus. And surprisingly, we had no issues on the trains other than seeing some people jump the turnstile not paying. But other than that, that's like nothing in the grand scheme of things. So,
Yeah. So let's talk about the first experience at the Mets game, the first one.
so when we
So
finally got there Friday night, after you enjoyed your chicken parm and I enjoyed that Tuscan ragu over homemade pappardelle in the place where Tony Soprano beat the shit out of Coco Cogliano,
that was like a wet dream for you.
it was a good place. I enjoyed it. I know you did too. You were like, you couldn't even, well, you got through like 3/4 of it and you couldn't finish it, but I know you liked it. So
I did, yeah. But
yeah, it was good. It was
I
good.
didn't eat the spaghetti though. I just ate the chicken because I didn't want pasta at the time.
Yeah,
I just wanted the chicken parm by itself, but it was on the menu, so I was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna bother with it.
yeah.
So
And I will say I did give them a good review on Google reviews. So anyone who wants to go into East Village, check out John's. Definitely recommend it. Well, and we can also recommend Ted's Montana Grill too, because I know you had a really good burger there, and I had a really good sandwich there also. But yeah, that Friday night. So let's see, we got to see the Mets dog both Friday night and Saturday night. Shohei Ohtani actually played, which none of us expected,
no,
and Senga had like 10 strikeouts that night, but he ended up losing in the matchup between him and Ohtani. So
which I recorded, yeah.
yep. Yeah, and Ohtani actually blasted a couple really good ones. We actually, at the Saturday night game, we actually saw him like break the LED ribbon board on one of the upper decks. He actually knocked a panel and it turned black. So we did see that. But let's see, they lost 3-1. You actually were talking to a Chiefs fan who was at the game.
Oh my God. Yeah. I don't know how far he was as a Chiefs fan, but I'm going to be 31 on Monday. I know. Happy birthday, you old fuck.
Yeah, exactly. You said it for me.
All right, go ahead.
Say
Say
next
it.
week.
Yeah, no. Say it to me now because I know what you're going to do.
All right. So, happy birthday, you old fuck. There you go.
There, I feel better.
There you go. All right, carry on.
No, there was a Chiefs fan behind us, and there was a really nice guy next to me on my left, and he was from Connecticut, and he was a Steelers fan, an Avalanche fan, if I remember, and a Mets fan, and it was his first ever game. And I said to him, "Dude, that's his first game too," and I was pointing at you, and then I'm just like, "That's his first game as well." So it was a really nice game all around. I mean, obviously the Mets didn't win because it's the fucking Mets. What do you expect? But you were just like, "I'm just waiting for a home run to happen. I think it's gonna happen." And sure enough, Francisco Lindor blasted onto the left side of center field, and it was gone. So you got to see not one but two.
Yeah, because Vogelbach got one Saturday night.
Yeah, Daniel Vogelback got the second one in Tom's life, and Francisco Lindor got the first one.
Hmm.
So in general, I will say this: and that was I thought the Mets in the first game they played much better than they did in the second. But
Yeah,
they did try to mount a comeback, but they did get more runs in that first in that second game than they did in the first. But and the crazy thing is, and I just learned this today, is Zach Hampel, believe it or not, actually posted the video on his channel about that game where we went to.
that's pretty sweet. And yes,
And
we did get to meet him in batting practice that day. So on that Saturday game.
yeah, so a lot happened that day. So we went to Tom's first full experience game at City Field, seeing the museum and then catching a baseball.
Yep.
We got to meet Rob for the first time. You caught your first ball.
Yep.
I think I said
Mets
that's
dog
right.
decided he actually wanted a picture with me, so he actually leaned in and got a good picture.
Well,
Smoking
yeah,
a pipe.
yeah, and of course we met Zach Hampel. And Zach Hampel, of all people, and I said this in my vlog, and that was is that trying to find him was like trying to find Sasquatch. He's impossible because he's not in one location. He's usually at like Yankee Stadium, City Field, and like Petco Park in San
Yeah, he
Diego.
was at Progressive Field earlier this week, so he was in Cleveland.
Yeah, and he was in Pittsburgh as well for the Pirates game.
Yeah, which
It's
makes sense. It's only about 2 hours away, so
right. So I think for him, that's nothing. A 2.5 hour drive, that's really short.
yeah, exactly. I mean, which, by the way, it looks like I am still going down to Pittsburgh on September 30th, so I might be checking a Pirates game out at that time too. But which, if I do, we'll have that going on. Also, we'll talk about that. But Hampel was pretty cool, and he was actually a really nice guy for us to meet because when we asked to take a picture with him, he said he would be offended if we didn't ask to take a picture
Yeah.
with him. So,
A good thing
we
I
got to
quoted
hang out
that
with him
too.
for a bit.
A good thing I quoted that too, because I remember saying to him, I said, "Hey, Mr. Hampel, is it possible we can get a picture with you?" And just exactly what you said. You said, I would be extremely offended if we did not get a picture together. And if I didn't see him on my left because that's where I was seated, I was the last person down on his left when it happened. And I'm like, I was trying to mesmerize. I'm like looking at him, I'm like, is that Zach Hampel? And all of a sudden, I see this big, muscular, skinny guy in an
Yeah.
angel set. And I said to myself, that's Zach fucking Hampel.
Yeah, and
So
I had thought about that because I'm like I just started watching some of his stuff more recently, so I'm like, holy crap.
yeah, and I even told you the funny thing about that is I even told you that of some of his biggest accomplishments, which was catching A Rod's 3,000 hits baseball when he played for the Yankees. I think they played the Mariners that day. I don't really remember, but irrelevant. And he had a huge feud with the New York Yankees, and he refused to give the ball back. And then people were offering him jerseys and bats and things like that. And the only condition of how he would give the ball back was if he only presented the ball to A Rod,
Hmm.
and he did.
Yeah.
And he also caught Mike Trout's first major league home run back in 2011. And he actually received because he gave the ball back to him. He gave the ball back to Mike Trout for him to keep, and in return, he got a bat.
Yeah, and that's pretty sweet. But it was definitely cool meeting him. So of course I've got the ball that I caught, and then we almost had a second one, and then but that didn't happen because then I actually got decked from behind, so I was almost on my ass in the seat.
Yeah.
But it's all right. But I've got a couple souvenirs, and bringing some stuff back, and then let's see. Besides that, I mean, meeting Rob, that
Well,
was pretty cool. We saw, of course, the original bases in the parking lot over at City Field, so we got to see
yeah,
that.
those parking those bats or those bases were the original spotting areas for Shea Stadium.
Yep. And then, oh yeah, and I forgot we ran into the bum on the Friday night game.
The bum.
Remember the bum? We were talking about that like after we were leaving the Friday night game.
Oh yeah, now it's coming back to me. I'm like thinking, wait, what bum?
Yeah, the
Well,
bum.
but when you said bum, I thought you meant like the guy with his dog that you were so
No,
infatuated
no.
with. I don't know. That's why I asked.
Right.
But it's just funny how everything comes in full circle. And then, but did you enjoy your time down there? Like,
I did. It was a good time. Well, first it was nice to be back, so that was pretty cool. Let's see. Besides the two games, our day in the city together, we actually went live from your place for the first time together, so that was pretty cool.
and me kicking your ass in Madden.
Don't remind me of that. Especially the first game. Don't remind me of that.
76 to nothing.
Shut up. but no, we had really good time down there. Really good barbecue the night before I left. And I was gonna say, how'd that sandwich feel the day after?
I didn't feel any different.
Okay.
I didn't feel any different.
Yeah, he had it like loaded up with like every single freaking meat known to mankind that they have.
Yeah. Oh, so our guest just texted me, and he just said he's leaving dinner now. We'll be back soon. It should be good around 8:35.
Awesome. So yeah, we got Steamrolla, Matt Frevola on just in the second half of the show. So we'll have him coming up. Other than that, I mean, I actually gave you a break from me during the time. I actually took the train out to Bayshore for part of that Sunday. So I got to enjoy lunch out there. Met up with one of my longtime friends who I hadn't seen in over 10 years. So that was pretty cool. Came back, and then of course you got to experience the twin turbo inline 6 on the Jeep Wagoneer. So
Well, you were you were just like in shock that you got that Jeep Wagoneer or whatever it was.
yeah, thank you, National, for
like,
giving me the free upgrade.
yeah, it was a double boost, and then you were just like, "Let me show you this," and then it was like,
you were like, holy shit!
like, dude, you're driving an $80,000 car. How are you able to do that?
Yeah, well, and it was like one of those things where I mean, we had the double boost on our car in Kansas City when we went. And that had some power. This had 120 more horsepower than that Ford Explorer we had.
Yeah,
We had 300 on the Explorer. We had 420 on the Jeep, and that's not even the high output that can go over 500.
right. So I mean, but in general, though, I gotta say the car was pretty damn fast. I will say that.
Yeah, and I actually got 20 miles a gallon on the way back, so I was actually surprised. But I did finally find out why I was detoured outside of Elmira. And when I was coming back, turns out part of I-86 washed out.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I found that out actually earlier today. So I'm like, wow, okay, now I know why. But no, it was a comfortable car. And let's see, besides that, it was a Series 2, so it had the Alpine sound system, leather, everything. I mean, the thing was huge, but it actually drove a lot like a smaller SUV, so I was surprised with that. But definitely comfortable. Enjoyed the ice that we went to over at Ralph's, so enjoyed getting that. And, it was a comfortable ride back. Had to stop to get my Wegmans fix in Westchester County on my way back, so had to do that, and everything went fine, so no issues. And now we just have to figure out SUV or pickup truck. If you guys want to see what we have for Cincinnati, leave it in the chat. It's like, we'll put it to a vote. Do you want me to drive a pickup, or do you want me to drive an SUV?
Well, let's have the public decide, because that to me I think is going to be the deal breaker. Because I think the fans deserve to know what car you're going to do for Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if it is an SUV, and if I get lucky and get the Wagoneer again, I'll be really surprised. But they move stuff in and out real quick. So if it is an SUV, it's going to be more than likely either a Yukon, an Armada, or an Expedition. That's going to probably be 4 choices. If it ends up being the Wagoneer, I will be very surprised again. But I'm not going to leave it outside the realm of possibility. It also possibly could be a Toyota Sequoia. Who knows? If it's a pickup truck, from what I saw on the lot when I was there, they definitely have F-150s, Ram 1500s. I actually did see a Toyota Tundra, which I was surprised to see because I've never seen one in a rental lot before. Or it may be something like a Chevy Silverado, GMC, of course Sierra, or it might possibly be a Nissan Titan.
Yeah, I mean, that's very possible, true. But you know what else we should also do while we're on the first half hour until Matt comes on is this. We should tell the public what we did 2-3 weeks ago. Do you know what it is?
Let's see, besides the trip, I mean, that came up. But we are now on Spotify, so you can actually start seeing our episodes for season 4 shortly after we do the upload.
Yeah, season 4 of Buffalo After Dark will now be on Spotify. And keep in mind, this is not just for season 4. This is going to be for seasons to come that we're going to be doing these episodes for you guys. So we wanted to let you guys know in advance that we've been working very hard to try to, get the Spotify account going. But I should very quickly say real quick, a huge shout out to my wife, Brittany, for this, because she was the one that helped us put this together. And I think without her help, I don't think we've been able to get this done. So, Britt, if you're watching, I love you. Thank you for helping us out for Spotify, and you're the best. And we can't wait to launch it on Spotify and go from there. So we're going to be in for a treat in the next half hour of the show because Maddie the Steamroller Frevola is coming on the show. And I have a big reveal coming up for you guys about the whole story, but we're not going to say anything about it.
Yep. We'll leave it until then. But until he comes on, we'll jump into two quick things. First, the Sabres announced that the Goathead is coming back for 15 games this season.
15 games. That is like 1/3 of their schedule.
I know. I love it.
You know, I'm sorry, but I am under the impression that the Sabres are going to bring this back full time.
I would love to see it. I honestly would. You know what? Let's see what happens. And the Sabres have announced KeyBank Center is finally getting a redo, and they are going to have a new scoreboard in for 2024-2025.
And a roof and new seats and all that jazz.
They're going to start finally doing some stuff. It only took a new chief operating officer to come in and kick Pagula in the ass and tell him, hey, we need to actually make the fan experience better.
Exactly. But I think I should also point out real quick is because we've already said it. I don't know if we said it like a few weeks ago or because we didn't say it in the summer because whatever. Over the summer, Tom and I planned a trip. I'm going to be driving up north to Buffalo in December. That's right. I will be in Buffalo from December 14th to December 20th for the Bills-Cowboys game. It's me, Tom, my friend Chris Millman, and his brother Andrew, who is a college student in Buffalo. So the four of us are going to the Bills-Cowboys game on December 17th for Week 15 against Dallas on primetime. So I can't wait to do that. And while I'm also in Buffalo, I will be hanging out with this fuckhead for the majority of the trip.
Yep.
And then we're going to a Sabres Blue Jackets game on December 19th.
Yep. And it actually reminds me now that tickets finally went on sale. I got to snag us a couple seats.
Yeah, please do.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so it'll be you, me, our friend Doug, who's been with the show in the past, and actually, we might have our Rochester guy, Jeremy Macbeth, coming in for it.
That'd be fun. I would love to meet Jeremy.
Same here. I keep saying I'm going to go see Amherst games and meet him, and I haven't done it the last several years. But Jeremy's been a big part of our site ever since we launched, like way back, even before we even started Horns and Hooves. So he's been with us, almost 9 years now. So,
something like that.
Yeah, he's been with us a long time. Well, Jeremy, if you're watching, good to hear from you, and I'll definitely give you a shout and let you know what's going on with the game, and if you want to go, we'll make it happen. So
yeah, so just remind me how much tickets will be, and I'll pay you back.
All right, cool, sounds good. And then shout out to our initial Hall of Famer Soph. She started school today, so she's doing good. Glad to see things are going a hell of a lot better for her too. And just want to say hi to her parents as well. I know they follow us on the page at the same time. Good people, so glad to see things are going in a much better direction. And we'll definitely get the Sabres box out to you pretty soon. So
she's a fighter, and that's the best way you could describe her. With Sophia, there's no better way to describe her. I cannot stress this enough. Yeah. With her at that age to go through chemo and then having to, travel across the country,
all this other stuff. I mean,
yeah,
I'll tell you, it really makes you think. I mean, all the stuff we can deal with that's not even close to that we think is bad is not even half as bad as stuff she's had to deal with, and the fact that she's pulled through and doing really well, that says a lot. So
she's in eighth.
Yeah, she's in 8th grade now.
Yeah, she's in 8th grade. She's almost in high school.
Yeah, I know, and but I'll tell you, I mean, she's definitely taught us a thing or two about pulling through, and glad to see that she's doing a lot better. So
yeah, so
with that, she always has an open invite to come on. So.
Well, yeah, of course. Yep. So with that being said, this will be the end of part 1 of the pilot episode or the premiere episode of season 4 of Buffalo After Dark. And then when we come back, Matt, the Steamroller Frevola, will be joining us on the show. Stay tuned.
This is Buffalo's Uncensored Sports Show. You're watching Buffalo After Dark.
Welcome back to part 2 of Buffalo After Dark. It is our season 4 premiere. Of course, it's me. It's Tiny Hands Hansen over there.
Fuck you. Anyway.
Hey, of course, big thing we have coming up this half hour. Matt Steamrolla Frevola is going to be joining us. So if you have any questions or anything you want us to ask, we have the Facebook live chat up and running. So get your questions in now before anything, or forever hold your peace, because once we get everything started, we're just going right through it. But we're looking forward. He'll be on probably within the next 5 to 10 minutes at the latest. But real quick, before we jump into talking with Maddie, Bills versus the Jets.
Oh my God.
And go Robert Salas. Salas says he is going to whip the Bills' ass. And all I can say is, you've got a geriatric QB and Aaron Rodgers. You have half the Green Bay Packers rejects.
All that did was just add more pressure to the Jets. Oh, dude, you see the amount of shit that's been coming out about the Jets lately?
Oh, yeah. It's insane.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Like, they literally are talking so much shit about the Bills, and not just the Bills, but the media too is just dick riding the hype of Aaron fucking Rodgers. Like, we get it. You got Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
And the media on ESPN, because they're becoming a clickbait show, because somebody actually said the Jets were going to jump ahead of the Bills in the AFC East, which to the point where the Jets would be in first and the Bills would be in last. That is not going to happen. I'm sorry.
And for anyone who was wondering why we don't have the Pat McAfee show on anymore, unfortunately, now that he's part of ESPN, we don't want to get copyright. So,
well, they also said to him that, if you're going to air your show on ESPN, you can't be doing all the swearing that he normally does on the show. But if you want to see the uncensored version of his show, you have to go on YouTube to watch it.
Yeah. And, of course, you can see a Pat McAfee show on YouTube, but even then, it's going to change, and probably not for the better. So it's like, you know what? We're just not going to post it.
Yeah, I don't know.
He had a good 6-month run on our page, though.
He did. Well, he had a good run for you in the last 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah, you got a free plug on our page every damn day. So that's that. But no, how about some of the starters? So, I mean, Cyrus Torrance is going to get the start.
Yeah, and then Christian Benford is going to be the number 2 corner, which I sincerely do not understand. Why is Kyer Elam getting buried in the cornerback position?
I don't get it. And speaking of our guest,
he's here.
He has entered the waiting room.
Oh my God, I can't wait. Maddie! There he is.
How's it going?
There's Maddie.
Yo, what up?
What's going on, Maddie? How are you?
Doing good. How you guys doing?
I'm great.
Good.
Nice
Welcome
to
to the
bro.
Lions Den, my friend. Good to see you.
Oh,
Absolutely.
thanks, guys.
Yeah, definitely. Dude, I love your beard. Did you start growing that out?
No, I just been letting it grow. I'm growing my hair out until it pisses me off and I need to get a haircut.
Good stuff.
If I'm being completely honest, you should just cut the sides, but leave the top alone and let the beard grow out. And trust me, I'm actually starting to do that as well.
All right, if you're doing it, Bob.
My way of doing it.
Sweet.
There we go.
Well, so we'll do, if anyone wants to call in, we do have the line open, 929-205-6099, or you can leave your questions for the Steamrolla here on Facebook. But first and foremost, we have to ask the certain things. So, of course, first thing, how'd you get started in mixed martial arts?
I was always an athlete growing up. I got a twin brother, and me and him were always playing baseball, playing football. I was always a competitor. But I wrestled in high school, and I guess that was really, wrestling really kind of transformed me. And then I found Matt Serra, and I found Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I fell in love with Jiu-Jitsu, and I started competing in submission grappling, and then I started training Muay Thai, and I fell in love with Muay Thai. And, in the cage, that's where you get to put it all together. So I got to use the wrestling, the jiu-jitsu, the Muay Thai, and the boxing. And that's what I love to do best, is using it all.
Nice.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. You're pretty damn good at it.
Yeah, right. We're getting.
You whooped Drew Over's ass real quick.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was a great fight.
Without a doubt. But Maddie, I mean, from what I remember, because let's be honest, I've known you pretty much my whole life. For those who don't know, by the way, before I ask him, Maddie and I are actually by blood. I'm not even exaggerating. We're actually first cousins. We actually have. It's his mom is my mom's sister. So for those who were interested, we are related by blood. So this is the closest I got to Maddie in like 3 years, honestly.
I know, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? And you know what's funny? I always tell people that you're my first cousin. They're like, some people either say, I don't believe you, or wow, that's really freaking cool. I'm like, you don't have to believe me. He's my first cousin. All you have to do is just watch him fight, and there you go.
There you go, man. There you go. We're both badasses.
Damn right, brother. Damn right. But I remember, though, when you were selected to compete for Dana White's Contender Series back in like 2017, I think it was season 8, if I remember correctly. Can you tell us about that experience and what it felt like to get that contract in the UFC? Because I remember to that day watching that fight.
Yeah, that was a dream come true, man. You know, ever since I started, it was always, I wanted to get to the UFC. That's the big leagues of the fighting. So, like, when I was an amateur, the whole come up, that was the dream, was to get to the UFC. And then when I got that for the Contender Series, that was the shot, man. I had, that was my shot to show Dana White what I was all about and get that UFC contract. And then they flew me out to Vegas. I got to do a bunch of like promo out in Vegas, which was really cool, and then getting to go out there and fight, man, was amazing. And I was fighting like an undefeated guy. I was only 5-0 at the time, so it was pretty early in my professional career. And, I knew he was good, but, I knew that I was good. And I went out and I beat his ass, man. I beat his ass, and Dana White gave me that contract that night. It was a dream come true. And I got to do it in front of Snoop Dogg. I remember Snoop Dogg was there.
Nice.
Get the fuck out of here. Was he there, really?
Yeah, Snoop Dogg was chilling there. Watching the fights, and I got to meet him afterwards, and my dad, my brother, a bunch of my buddies were there too, so we all got to hang out with Snoop Dogg after the fight.
You lucky bastard. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it was crazy, man.
My God. It's funny to me how you're just now telling us that you met Snoop Dogg at that point. I knew about the whole Conor McGregor thing because you were in Abu Dhabi at that time during like the pandemic or whatever, and he was hanging out by the pool, and then this comes up. What the hell? You have the lifestyle of like most people would dream of, but that's awesome though, man.
I know, man. It's crazy. One of like the most my favorite thing about like fighting is how I could like connect with like other athletes and other sports. And then like all these, like the Mets, I got to throw out the first pitch at the Mets game, and then I've been hanging out with the Islanders actually a lot too. I've been like training with Barzell. Barzell like loves it, and like all these athletes, they're all like millionaires. They're making so much money. They're like huge and stuff, but they have so much respect for what I do, because I'm not out there like playing a game. I'm not trying to like score points. We're out there fighting. I'm trying to take this guy's head off. It's not a game in the cage. It's a fight. And these other guys have such like respect for us.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, Matty Barzell gets the shit kicked out of him all the time. I mean, granted, I'm a Sabres fan, but I always loved Matty Barzell, even when he was coming up from the WHL before he was drafted in Seattle. And then next thing you know, he's up in the pros, and then he's just scoring maybe 20, 30 goals a year. And then all of a sudden, he's hanging out with you.
I know, right? Just wait. This season, his game is gonna be that much better because now he knows how to fight a little bit. He's got that confidence, and he's going to be even more of a menace on the ice.
That's going to be fun. I can't wait to see what he can do this year.
Nice. Good stuff. Although I gotta say, man, I would love to hang out with Snoop Dogg one day. That would be like the coolest damn thing out there. So
that would be like Fitz's like wet dream if he hangs out with Snoop Dogg.
Yeah. Fitz would love to smoke a joint with Snoop Dogg any day. So.
Oh man, it was so fun. So I guess Snoop Dogg on that first season of the Contender Series, he was commentating like a bunch of the fights. They would do like an alternate commentation booth, and he was just smoking weed the whole time. I remember as
What a legend. That's not just crap.
That's a straight up
That's-
badass.
No, I was gonna right there.
as soon as I walked into like the Ultimate Fighter gym where the fights were at, I just smelled weed right off the bat. The whole place smelled like weed because Snoop Dogg was just blazing up. It was great.
That's amazing.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So I gotta ask you this. So when of course you fight pretty regularly, what type of preparation goes into your day-to-day training, and what are some of the things that you like to do before you get in the octagon?
Yeah, man. I train every day, and I coach a little bit now too. So I'm like coaching classes and helping out. We got like a lot of young amateurs, a lot of pro guys coming up, and I'm always in there like helping out my team, and it really only makes me better. But I'm starting to bear down right now for my own fight camp, and my own fight camp. I really got to focus on my training and get my ass in shape. And I'm always doing strength and conditioning. I love lifting weights. That's one of the things that really keeps me healthy is staying strong and lifting weights keeps me healthy, keeps me strong, keeps me fast. So I'm always lifting. I lift probably like 3 days a week, and then I swim a lot as well. I can't run because of like my knee. I got a torn meniscus. I can run, but I'll run and then like my knee will hurt for like a month. I'll have to ice it every day. So instead I like to get in the pool and I swim, or I go right out into the bay right in the front of my house and I swim out there. So I lift, I swim. And then I do hot yoga. Hot yoga is definitely a lot harder than it sounds, man. I'm telling you, like a lot of people, I tell people I do yoga and they're like, what do you mean? You just like stretch? And no, I do hot yoga. I'm in like a sauna and I'm like really focused on all the correct like postures and it's really tough actually. So I do that as well. And then I do a lot of jiu-jitsu. I love jiu-jitsu. And then I do a lot of boxing. I box every week. I spar every week. The sparring is probably the most important. And I do hard sparring probably once a week, and that's kind of like a fight, So I do that once a week. I hit mitts probably twice weeks with my coach. And then I do a lot of drilling as well. I do it all, man. That's the thing about mixed martial arts is there's like so many aspects to fighting, and you can't leave anything out, and you can't be lacking anywhere, or you'll get exposed.
Right. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, you're constantly moving in the octagon, kicking the shit out of people. I mean, mainly Drew Dober. Wasn't that Trey Turner a few years ago? No, Jalen Turner. That's what it was. For some reason, I got it confused with Trey Turner on the Phillies and with Jalen Turner.
You were close.
Yeah, mixing complexes. But no, have you ever thought maybe like doing like fast walking or something like to keep your metabolism going when you're on the walk? You just said you don't usually run because of your knee.
Yeah, I definitely try to. I go on walks here and there, especially out on the beach. I like to get on the beach and shadow box and just kind of walk and keep the body moving, man. Because I always got to lose a lot of weight, man. I fight at 155 pounds. I'm probably 180 pounds right now, so I got to get my weight down.
Now, is that just water, or is that like muscular, or is that just from eating all the hungry men?
Oh man, just too many egg sandwiches, too many bacon, egg, and cheeses.
Well, I mean, I'm not surprised.
Them, though.
Yeah, that too. I mean, this guy is literally eating a freaking Hungry Man on fucking Instagram, and it's just like, all right, good morning, everybody. And it's just like, you fucking show up.
Gotta do it. Gotta do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Although that bagel place down by you, Bobby, was really damn good for that bacon, egg, and cheese that morning, so...
Well, yeah, that too. So that definitely works for sure. I mean, all places on Long Island, even on that side of the island, is pretty damn good. I mean, 90% of it, I think, was pretty good from what it is. But,
yeah. Gotta have a bagel.
Yeah, but I do want to ask you, has there been a fight that's been the toughest for you in the UFC, aside from Drew Dober? Because kicking his ass was one thing.
Dude, I was expecting every fight I go into, I'm prepared for a 3-round war. I'm prepared for the best this guy's gonna bring, and Drew Dober was like the best credentialed fighter I ever fought. So I was really, I was not expect. I mean, I knew that I was capable of going out there and finish him in the first round, but I was prepared for a 3-round war. And I just landed that right hand and put him away. It's not always like that, but it's definitely nice when you could get it done without any injuries or without bleeding too much.
Well, I mean, you literally took down the Crimson Gin in just one punch. And now everybody looks at you as like the second coming of Christ because everyone's like, yeah, this guy took down Drew Dober. And it's like, nah, he's not going to win. And then it's like, boom, you took him out. And I'm like, watch, he's going to kill him.
Yeah, literally 408 in the first round.
Yeah. And then afterwards, we all know and love that after that post-fight press conference with you calling out Patty. We all know that at this point.
Yes, straight up. It's like, Patty Pimblett, you're a bitch, and we all agree.
I mean, we can all agree on that.
That is awesome.
But did he verbally accept the fight yet, or is he just waiting for a contract, or was it never doesn't anything align to it? Was anything set up prior to it?
Nothing official yet, but he's been doing interviews, and he says he wants to fight. He said that I was the easiest way to the top 15. So, I just want him to step up, sign the contract, and we could get this fight booked. Right now I'm training right now. The UFC's going to Madison Square Garden November 11th. So I'm training for that. And I'm hoping it's going to be me and Patty Pimblett, but I'll be ready for anyone.
Well, I mean, if you fight Patty, that's the big boy bucks. But did they give you an indication who you might be fighting if you somehow don't get Patty? Did they tell you yet?
No, they don't tell me anything, man. It's kind of annoying, but I try not to stress about it or think about it too much. All I can control is me being ready, is my training, is my preparation. So that's kind of what I focus on. I've got that date, November 11th. So I'm gonna be ready to beat someone's ass November 11th.
Awesome.
That's whenever the time comes to fight Patty Pimblett, I'm gonna tell everybody if it's pay-per-view, we're gonna make sure we all get a little get-together party, and we're gonna watch the fight at 12 a.m. at the Garden. Hopefully, because I think that would be worth everybody's time to watch Patty Pimblett fight you of all people. Which I think it was funny. Before this interview, I was watching a lot of press conferences about Patty Pimblett, and he just kind of just shrugged off everybody else. And then you called him out. It's like, okay, he just accepted Matt's fight. I think he meant that. And then here you are training, getting ready to go. And then Patty's just like, let's go. And just sign the contract. And then we're on our way.
That's what I'm hoping, man.
Yeah.
It's going to be like Rogers versus Allen.
Come on, Monday night. Jets.
You knew we had to throw that in there, man. We had to throw that in there. Although he gets to freeze his ass up here in Buffalo in December, so in the upper deck of all places.
Matty, the idiot I am, I decided to spend $500 to 4 Bills Cowboys games tickets. So I'm driving up to Buffalo for the Bills Cowboys game in December to see this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna have a good time. They're still at the Bills are still at that stadium, right?
Yeah,
for at least another couple of years. I think it's like 2025 is the last season.
Yeah,
and
2026 is when they open the new stadium right across the street.
That's a great stadium, man. I went to a Bills game there once, like years ago, and it was fun, man. Like the Bills Mafia, they know how to party, man. They know how to have a good time for a football game. It was fun.
Yeah, they do. I mean, he remembers. Actually, Bobby was up here a few years ago. It was Cincinnati Bengals versus the Bills for the home opener, and he stayed up here for a few days. Him and his wife, and we had great seats. Unfortunately, we saw Harrison Phillips tear an ACL during the game, and we set some guy's lawn on fire with their grill. But everything else was good.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it's creepy enough that Bills Mafia, like the fans themselves, are the nicest people in the world. And yeah, Jets fans or Dolphins fans will get rowdy and they'll be like, "We're better than you," and they're just like, "Would you like some ketchup?" No, I mean, no, Bills Mafia is cool, man, and they do travel well, and I expect a lot of red, white, and blue on Monday night for sure.
I know, man. The whole division's stacked. It's awesome. At least the Patriots are the worst team in the division. That's nice.
I can't even comprehend who's going to even win the division this year. I mean, you have Jets fans and talking about how great they're going to be, yet we don't even have an idea yet. And then, of course, you have the Bills. Then you have the Patriots, who are basically everybody's, redheaded stepchild, no pun intended. And and then, of course, we have the Dolphins.
Yeah. My brother's been talking about the Dolphins for a while now. I'm just waiting for Tua to get hurt. Don't worry, he'll get hurt eventually.
You heartless fuck.
I think at one point last season we almost had like an over under. How many games is it going to be until Tua retires or something after he gets his bell rung so many times?
Mm-hmm. But no, I mean, have you spoke to Jimmy about that with the Dolphins this year, as far as like going to a Dolphins Jets game on Black Friday?
No, man. I definitely I want to go. I want to go to as many games as I can, but it's just such a pain in the ass to get to MetLife. That's why, like, I'd rather go down to Miami and go to a Dolphins Jets game in Miami. That would be fun.
Yeah, that's for sure. I actually, because Britt and I went to New England last December around Christmas time for the Bills Patriots Thursday night game, and it was freezing, but it was worth it because the Bills won that game. But it was like -30 at the time. Well, not -30. That's too radical. Like 30 degrees at minimum. It was freezing, and then no, it was a lot of fun. I went to a Bruins game at that point too. So this year alone, I'm going to, aside from Buffalo, I'm going to 3 stadiums, and I'm actually going to my first one in 3 weeks. I'm going to Washington to see the Commanders play the Bills, and then I'm going with Tom in November for the Bills-Bengals game. That's a primetime game. And then after Thanksgiving on Black Friday, I'm going to Philadelphia to see the Eagles-Bills game in Philly.
And you're living the life.
I try.
Yeah, we did Bills in Kansas City at Arrowhead last season, so.
Oh, dude, that was fun.
That was nice.
Do yourself a favor. If you ever get a chance, Maddie, go to Arrowhead. That is so worth it.
Yeah. Actually, I've heard good things about that. I love football seasons here, baby.
Yeah, take the stadium tour at Arrowhead if you ever get a chance to. That was freaking sweet being on the field.
Nice.
Absolutely. And for those who haven't seen you fight before, Maddie, what are your favorite submissions or ways to end a fight quickly?
I love head kicks, man. There's something about like kicking somebody in the head is I always I was always like drawn to that, and like I loved like Mirko Krokop like coming up and he was like known for head kick knockouts. And I love like kicking people in the head for some reason. So I would say head kick knockout is my favorite. And then submission, I love triangle chokes. I always like when I first started doing jiu-jitsu, I thought it was so cool that you could win a fight and like choke somebody out on your back with your legs without even using your hands. So I love triangle chokes. I love head kicks. That I would say those are my favorite finishes.
Well, I mean, have you learned like different types of styles of martial arts aside, like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or Taekwondo, just to kind of improve your craft?
Oh yeah, man. I love Muay Thai. I went to Thailand. I've been there like 3 different times now. I fought out in Thailand, and then that's really the motherland of Muay Thai. They call it the art of 8 limbs. It's like you got your hands, your elbows, your knees, and your shins. So it's like those 8 limbs are deadly in Muay Thai. And it's great, man. And I'm also really falling in love with boxing as well. These last couple of fights, I've been knocking everyone out with my hands, I think, because I've been really dialing in on my boxing. So and that's what's so fun about mixed martial arts is learning all those different martial arts, and then like you said, the taekwondo, the spinning back kicks, the side kicks, and then you learning all those martial arts, and then kind of finding what works for you and what kind of fighter you want to be, and then putting it all together in the cage.
That sounds about right. I mean, I don't know if you knew this, but my dad went to Japan like 40 years ago just to learn the safe craft, but a little different than what used to be. But it's so funny how did my dad ever tell you that? Ever?
Yeah. Your dad, and I meet people at the gym who know about your dad all the time.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
You know what it is?
Yep, he's a cool guy, though. I got to meet him for the first time actually about 2 weeks ago. So.
Legend.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm like a walking celebrity icon. If either people will say to me, "Is your cousin Manny Frevola or is your dad Robert Hansen?" and I'm just like, "Yeah, but I don't impact their lives. I'm just the guy in the middle. I'm just the guy who just does videos on the internet in his basement." So that's kind of how I look at my life. But no, in general though, I always admire different forms of like martial arts from certain people. But I think I remember saying this to you a few years ago during the pandemic. And I remember saying to you, and maybe you may remember this, I don't think you do, but I remember saying to you was I compared you to Josh Allen, where he didn't really start off the strongest, and then he started getting better and better and better, and he's like one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and here you are in the top 14 ranked lightweight fighters in the world in the UFC.
Yeah, no, I do remember that, and like you're not lying, man. Like I said, I got to the UFC when I was 6-0, and you know I did a lot of learning on the job, and I took my bumps and I learned, and now I'm where I'm at now. You know, on the 3-fight win streak, I'm ranked in the world now, and it's perfect timing. You know, a lot of guys, you know, quit along the way, but you gotta keep going. You gotta keep learning. You gotta keep evolving, and that's what I did. And now I'm right where I need to be. You know, in the prime of my life, ready to go for the title.
Hell yeah, that's the way to go, brother. That's the way to go.
Sweet.
But do you ever feel and notice like in your lifestyle, like since like you won that fight, people start to recognize you more than compared to like 3 years ago?
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Especially after that Dober fight. After that Dober fight, like I'm walking into 7-Eleven and people are going Steamrolla. Like it's crazy, man. And I love it, man, because I'm not used to that. Like anybody who supports me, anybody who, you know, likes watching me fight, you know, I love them. You know, I look at them as, you know, family, you know, and if you support me, you know, I support you guys. You know, you're family, Bobby. I always support you. So that's why, you know, whenever you want me on here, I'll always hop on with you guys.
I would love to have that. Speaking of
You're
support,
always welcome here.
look what I got on.
There you go, man.
I gotta pick up some stuff from your page.
Nice.
These days.
I have his face on my shirt. That really should say a lot. But no, it's not because I'm a fan. It's because I am related to him by blood. So that's the best way to go. I mean, it's so easy to say, "Oh, I have a celebrity for a cousin," but I don't brag about it. I'm just the regular guy. But then at the end of the day, I'm like, "Oh, Manny Frevola is my first cousin," and then usually I get a mixed reaction, and it's like, "Oh, that's cool," or "Oh, I've never heard of him," or "Oh, that's this and that." I'm like, "Just watch him; you'll be fine." And then all of a sudden, I always show the Dober fight because that's to me the fight that to me defied your career at this point. You're in your prime. You're kicking ass. You want to fight Patty, and you have all the confidence in the world. And that's what I love about you, is that you have all the confidence. You don't take shit from anybody, and it's just between you and I. And on top of all that, you got great trainers. You got a great family ahead of you. You got a lot going on in your life, Matty.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. I don't know if you're going to be saying all that after the Jets beat up the Bills on Monday, but I'll take it now.
Well, we'll see about that because I'm just waiting for the clock to tick because at this point, if the Jets lose, I am going to laugh hysterically with all the hype around them this year.
I know Jets definitely got a target on our back now.
Oh yes, I'm ready to hunt. Let's go.
Game time, guys.
Yeah,
That's gonna
and
be a good
Tom, I
one.
think you have a question for him.
Yeah, so last question, and then we'll wrap up. But for anyone who wants to get into UFC or martial art or mixed martial arts, what are some things you could suggest to those guys?
Yeah, I would say find the martial arts that you love the most. You know, whether it's wrestling, whether it's Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, whether it's Taekwondo, whether it's boxing, whether it's more. You know, find what you're really passionate about, what you like to do the most, and then find a gym, find a coach, and really just put your. You know, if you find a good gym, a good coach, and you have the passion, that's all you need right there. And then you have to keep showing up. You know, there's so many guys at the gym that come in and they're like, oh, you know, I want to be a fighter, I want to be a fighter, and then they do like, you know, 1-2 practices, and then they realize how hard it is. They get beat up a little bit, and then they just don't show up anymore. You know, everybody gets beat up. When I first started, you know, I got beat up every day, but I kept showing up, and that was the difference maker. I just kept showing up, and eventually, you know, I got good. So I mean, half the battle is walking through those doors, is, you know, finding the gym, finding the coach, and, you know, giving them a call and showing up. So I would say just show up, find the gym, find your coach, and keep showing up and work hard.
Hell yeah, and that's a great life lesson too. I mean, you want to take on something, don't quit, and you don't give up.
Exactly. The only true failure is if you stop trying.
That's true.
Absolutely.
Well, we all know that at this point, Maddie. I mean, look what you've done in your career this far. It's pretty obvious.
It's crazy. I've been fighting for 10 years now.
Well, it's finally paying off now, has it?
It is, man. It is.
Yeah, I'm happy for you, man. I mean, you have a great career ahead of you, and I'm very proud of you no matter what.
Thanks, Bobby. I'm proud of you.
Of course, thank you. We appreciate that too.
Yeah, it's great to see you having all that success too. I mean, that Dober fight really put you on the map, I think. But just really awesome to see how things are going for you. And even when I was taking a look back at some of your other fights prior to Dober, I mean, I'm like, you know what, this is really cool. So I mean, I've seen you evolve, and, you know, just keep going for it, man, because it's just awesome to see. And, you know, we're happy to have you on anytime you want to come on.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. We got to, you guys got to come to the next fight. If I get this fight at Madison Square Garden, let's go.
Yeah, what's the date? Do you know?
It's November 11th.
November 11th. So that's a week after we come home from Cincinnati. Oh, shit. Because I'll be there from the 2nd through the 7th. So that's 3 days after the fight. Oh, my God. That's so close.
Hey, that's a Saturday night, man. That's a quick, easy flight from Buffalo down and back.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, we'll have
Only an hour into JFK. That's easy.
Well,
Dude, you guys have a good time with my brother, all my friends. I'll get you guys right with the crew, and we'll have a good time.
Well, I think Jimmy would be very pleased to see me, especially when he's going to be like, yeah, Dolphins #1, man. I'm like, no, fuck the Dolphins. No, but Tom, in all seriousness, Jimmy, his brother, is a Dolphins fan, and I give him a lot of shit on Twitter about it. And I'm sure he comes up to be like, Matt, you see Bobby is texting me on Twitter about this shit? He's like, can you, like, control him for, like, a minute?
Yeah, it's great. I love it.
Yeah, it's good to add fuel to that rivalry, especially when it's family and family. You know, it's a little
I know, man, and we all got good teams now. Bills, the Jets, and the Dolphins are all looking good. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. AFC
Definitely.
AFC East got to be the toughest division right now.
Yeah, I'd agree.
oh my God, I can't wait for the season to start on Monday, man. I mean, did you bet on the game, or are you just kind of just leaving it on the side for now?
No, man, I don't really bet on the sports stuff. That's the one thing that I haven't. I just don't download any apps.
Gotcha.
I don't download the app, so I don't lose my money. But every once in a while, I got my one buddy who will take some of my bets.
I mean, a lot of people tend to take your bets between you and me. I mean, I don't bet either because if I lose my money, I'm screwed. But no, I don't bet on it. I just kind of just go. I just watch the games because I like them. You know, the only time I really bet on it is like during the Super Bowl, and I one time put down like I think this was like Rams Bengals. This was like 2 years ago, and I put down $4 on DraftKings, and I'm just like expecting nothing out of it. And next thing you know, after the Super Bowl, I showed Britt, and I'm like, "Babe, I just won 450," and she's like, "450?" I'm like, "How did you do that?" And I was like Cooper Kupp and Joe Burrow or something like that. I don't remember exactly how that lineup came to be, but I remember that I did that, and I was just so dumbfounded because I don't bet. And it just came in my direction.
That's a nice win. Take your winnings and run.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. But if I do bet on the fight in November, if we get it, I'm putting my money down on you, of course.
There you go. Easy money.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Also,
hopefully Pimblett signs.
Yeah,
Well,
and hopefully they make me an underdog.
well, I think you have a big chip on your shoulder. I mean, Patty is the poster boy. Take his ass out, and then you're the new golden child.
That's it. That's what I'm coming for it all.
Take him down, Maddie. Take him down.
Thanks, Bobby.
Of course.
Awesome.
So, all right, Maddie, we're going to let you go, brother. Enjoy your night, and thank you for coming on. We truly appreciate it.
Absolutely. It was great to talk with you, and you're welcome back anytime you want to come on.
Yeah, definitely, guys. It was nice to talk to you. I miss you, Bobby. We gotta link up again, and when I'm hoping to get some news soon. Like I was hoping I would have it by now, but I think next week I should have some fight news. So maybe when I get fight news, I could come back on and we could talk the next fight.
Hell yeah.
Fire away, buddy. Listen, we would love to have you on as many times as we can, whenever you're available, of course.
All right, cool, man. When I get when I get my next fight booked, I'll announce it probably on Instagram and Twitter and all that. And then we can link up and we'll talk, and I'll give you a little insight on the game plan on how I got to beat up this guy.
Sweet.
Ooh, yeah, definitely. I'd love to see that. So, with that, Maddie, it was a pleasure having you, brother.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Great having you, man.
You guys have a good night.
You
All right,
too.
you
Love
too.
you, Maddie.
Thanks, buddy.
Later. Love you, Bob.
I'll talk to you soon.
All right, guys. So there we go. Matt, the Steamrolla Frevola.
Great guy overall. And
Hell yeah.
like I said, he's my first cousin on my mom's side. My late Aunt Maggie, that's her son. So she died 20 years ago from breast cancer, but he became a full-grown adult, and her legacy lives on forever, and he carries on her name in those fights. So Matty's a great human being all around.
Yeah.
I know he's gotten popular lately as far as his trend with the fights, but he's just a great human being.
Yeah, he hasn't forgotten his roots, and that's really awesome because there's some people that become celebrities and they become total jerks about everything, and no, he's just a regular everyday guy, and that's really the cool thing about him. So
Yeah.
awesome to have him on. Great way to kick off the season. Awesome to have him on as many times as he wants to come on too. So
I would love to do that.
yeah, same here. Shit, if we
Be a
can
frequent guest on once in a while.
Yeah, hell, if we can get in and see that fight, even better.
Hell yeah, dude. I would love to see that fight in the garden. If he could hook me up with tickets, that would
I
be
would
awesome.
fly down to see that. I wouldn't care. I would fly down for it.
Well, hell yeah, I would say I would pay big bucks to see that. But at the same time, though, it would be around the time frame when we come back from Cincinnati.
Yeah, that's fine. That works out.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
I mean, got enough side projects to keep money coming in, so it's all good. So that being said, I was gonna say that was a very quick hour we had, but a very fun hour we had.
Very, very
Great way
fun.
to kick off the season, and of course, now you guys have a little bit of insight on the Steamrolla. He's gonna be back as often as he wants to come on, and that's a hell of a great thing.
I would love to do that.
Same
I mean, I think a lot of people would be jelly of the fact that we have our frequent guest on here. I think that's going to be key going forward, but we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. But Matt, thanks for being on. We love you. We appreciate your time today. Everybody else who ended up watching, thanks again as well. Take care of yourselves and each other. We'll see you next Wednesday.